We're months into making this 2020 Denali, one of the first ever body drop in the world.
And you know as well as I know, everything's in the way.
I'm about to cut $10,000 off this truck.
Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here.
Size-wise, this 2019 Polaris is a small vehicle for us, but it's got some big issues.
Heck, having this thing, man, this thing was in a tornado. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, you know we're in.
If this ain't hooked up correctly, nothing's gonna work.
Oh, no way!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16, and ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need, they come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, what better way to have a little family bonding than having your kids help you cut up a car?
And before I send this thing off to get scrapped, I figured I'd give my kids a little lesson on how to use some tools and cut some metal.
I never really use like tools like this. I mean, it's not that bad except for it's just like, you know, pumping my arms out, but that's all right. It's a good workout, and I really like working out, so I guess it's fine.
Couple little more pieces, the whole roof's gonna be off. Go out on your side. Yep. What do you think?
Heck,
First convertible? Yes.
it's a good family day. We cut up the car, and so now we're just gonna have some fun.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Cleve at? Cleve! Come on! Come on!
You know, I can't really tell you personally how many donuts I've done in this parking lot. You know, maybe 1 million or so. You know, but this is Cleve's first, and he seemed really happy to be here. Seeing this thing in a stage like this, it finally feels like this thing's coming together. You know, after being so long just a cab on the lift, feels like we're getting some things done.
It's been a lot of hard work.
You got that right. I mean, just getting this thing apart's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
We're months into making this 2020 Denali 3500, one of the first ever body drop in the world. The owner wants to haul some of his other show cars with it to SEMA. So we had to put more engineering into this thing to make it perform even better than he wants. With a body back on the frame, it looks like we're almost done, but I can tell you, we're a long ways away.
Oh, Lord, what are you guys trying to pull a house or something? That's serious.
Damn right it is. I mean, this transfers all the weight from a trailer. Sometimes it could be 20, 30,000 pounds of stopping and starting. Goes to this right here.
So we can put a house on there.
Absolutely. Just from the start of this, get it on the lift and tearing it apart was a major job. You know, laying the chassis out, building the chassis on the table, getting the frame underneath this, you know, rear suspension, just to get to this stage is huge amount of labor.
I know.
This is not just double work or triple work. It's not even quadruple. What's after quadruple?
A lot.
The finishing work on a build like this is always the hardest part. It's a huge build, but the small details, they take a lot of time. Now that we got the foundation, we can build the front suspension and huge wheel tubs that tuck those big old 28-inch wheels. Color match the frame and plastics, create a fully articulating speaker system in the bed, and finding space to put everything back together under the body. And that's rewiring, reconnecting, rebuilding, making this truck 100% brand new again, just like it is.
We got a lot of work done, but there's still a whole lot of work to do and a whole lot of parts to order. So let's get to it.
Let's get it.
this stage of the build, it's all about making room underneath the body to cram everything back in. So Tim and John are getting started to making room for these big old wheels.
The name of the game is bigger the wheels, the lower to the ground. And you know as well as I know.
Most important thing,
The brakes.
the brake system.
We're not going to cut the factory fender tabs off. We're going to use those to line everything back up. That way it'll look factory from the outside, and it'll keep all the factory gaps exactly the same. We're going to build back a support with some DOM. We need something that's going to keep all these tabs 100% where they're at, and keep this where it's at. Because then the fender will bolt right back up here, and all this will gap back perfect. The hood will shut perfect. Everything will stay right.
You know, I've seen a lot of custom builds where they made something look good, but later on down the road, it just didn't hold up. Yeah, so we gotta fit it down, huh? We gotta have form and function, stability. What good is a cool car if you can't drive it down the road safely? Pretty damn good.
That's going to work. That clears the hinge, clears the hood, supports that.
Clears a gas shock too, so we don't have to mess with that.
I think everything's been perfect.
I'm holding the fender tabs right to the support to keep everything in line. Now we got our new support in there. We can remove all of this to get our new big wheel in there. There you go. Starting to see this thing getting put together and starting to look like a whole truck again.
You see the door gap, it all lines back up perfect. Now you have to sit there and try to make the fender mounts.
Yep, and it's looking real good.
While Tim and John are making good progress on the 2020 Denali's front end, I'm going to get started making articulating speaker brackets for the bed. You know, just having a drop dually, big wheels all the way on the ground just isn't enough. You just got to have that little bit more. So we're going to make a speaker bracket that mounts 4 speakers in the bed and articulates up. So when he's parked, he can actually raise it up and the sound projects over the bed and out to everywhere. I took a couple of quick measurements off the bed with the bed cover, with the wheel wells, and made a quick drawing on the table so I know exactly what kind of room we have to work with, and we'll come up with some kind of mount that's going to be cool. Just a lot of figuring out to do. You know, there's a lot of pivot points, a lot of measuring. We'll see what happens. We need to make one a little shorter to maybe kick it up a little bit or kick it down a little bit. You can play with all those little angles, all those little pivot points to make the speaker do whatever you want to with it. So once we make them act right, we can duplicate that in bars and pipe and bushings.
Man, that's something to start out, but having some articulation like this to where it actually moves and it's got function to it, man, that's that next step.
I'm using the measurements from the rods and bolts to make the final articulating arms for the speakers. So I have something like that. I want these things quick, so Max and Jesse are going to weld these things out, all while me and Jamie are going to make the frame to hold all these mounts to the bed. You know, it's one thing to lay it out on the table and make little bitty mounts and get it in your head, okay, it's going to work, but when you actually convert that over to the bracketry and drill holes and spend time in making all the pivot points right, the little bars right, you put it all together, you know, there is some question there if it's really going to work. So right now we're going to put it together and actually see if it's going to do what we need to do.
Man, you just have that in your head, just popped it out.
I mean, figure it out until it works, see what works. Speaker about here, you know, facing out, then coming out over the bed. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like really cool.
We finished fabric, gonna make room for it in the bed.
All right, now we're to the point we need to put this bed on the new frame. But as you can see, the notch of the frame and the gooseneck hitch is going to stick through the bed. So what I'm going to do right now is just cut a hole out in this bed floor so I can get it on there, and then we'll go back and figure out how we're going to fill this back in. When this truck's laid out all the way on the ground, you'll be able to walk up, look in the bed, and the gooseneck hitch and the bag mounts are going to show through the bed floor. And you get to appreciate all the work that went into this frame, which for me is a nice change, because a lot of times we'll do all this and it simply gets covered up. Now we have a hole.
I'm about to cut $10,000 off this truck. We gotta remove all this, because once that truck lays down on the floor, we need room for that big tire to reach all the way up here. Now we get all this out the way, now we got plenty of room for these big wheels and tires.
Which means it's got 4 wheels in the back. So that means we need to make even larger wheel tubs in the bed to fit those 28-inch tires.
This is how we roll our sheet metal to get the same radius as our wheel tub. And we need a little bit more. Woo. So the tub got to be extra wide to accommodate both dually wheels on the back of this truck. So what we're gonna do is butt weld the new piece to the old piece, and what that is fitting them tightly together on edge and welding right along the crease. Just to let you know, welding around magnets sucks. These magnets hold the pieces of metal together while I weld, which is good, but because the welder uses a metal wire, that same magnet disrupts the arc connection. So it can be a little tricky. Welding is nearly impossible.
John officiated the marriage of these two pieces of metal. Relationships have ups and downs and bumps. So me, I'm a marriage counselor. I'm gonna smooth this out.
On fire today.
Things got a little smoky around here.
What's up, Doug?
Hey, Bill, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man.
In the custom car business, it's always good to get those repeat customers. We worked on Doug's 48 GMC truck years ago. Good to see you, man. What are we doing with this thing?
Well, we're not doing anything to the truck. We're going to focus on the most important thing. That's my granddaughter's Polaris.
That.
This.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know it don't look like a Polaris today, but it used to. Her house was hit by a tornado on Easter Sunday, an EF4 tornado in South Mississippi. They lost everything. Destroyed the house, destroyed everything, lost all of her toys, clothes, and she lost her Polaris. And this was the most important thing that she was looking for after the tornado. So we've got to get it fixed. The tornado hit my daughter's house with our 3 grandchildren, and it scared me and my wife to death. We were here in Houston. She called us right before it happened, and then it was 15, 20 minutes before she called us back and told us they were okay. Very scary moment. When everything was done, and this was the first thing she went to looking for, and it was 250 yards away, and you can tell it may have barrel rolled once. So that's why this Polaris is so important.
You know, we customized a lot of vehicles in all different stages of the customization, but never one that's been through a tornado. I don't know if there's really much hope for this thing, but we're definitely going to see what we can do. I think the first thing we need to do is actually get this thing down and really see what we got to do. You know, get that frame back straight. I know there's probably going to be some frame issues, and put new plastics on it, make sure that all bolts back together right. And I think instead of just bolting the factory cage back on, just build something cool for her. Make it so she's, you know, not only looking cool, but safe also.
Absolutely. She loves this thing, and whatever you do is going to make it that much better, Bill.
Yeah, this thing's going to be cool. You know, this isn't a normal project we do around here. You know, but being so close to the Gulf, we know all about what those storms can do. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, you know we're in.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill. That's why I come to see you.
You know, a job like this is what I would normally turn away. But, you know, when an old friend brings it in and it has such a heartwarming story, you don't have any choice but to help out. Looking at this after it's been in a storm the way it has, and just seeing the steel being mangled and rolled over, but it just shows you how much power the wind has. And I'm just happy no one was hurt in that. I'm going to pull this into the shop, and everybody's going to go, what are you doing? What's this here for? But once they hear the story and they hear who it's for, I know they're going to be all in. time we get a small project, right?
The heck happened to this thing? It looks like somebody jumped it.
Man, this thing was in a tornado. The wind did this. Chunked this thing a quarter mile. You know, it's Doug's granddaughter. She just cherished this thing. This was her favorite thing to have, right? And they lost their house. They lost everything. So we need to bring this thing back to life. What I want to do is get it in the shop so we got a nice level surface. Let's take off all the plastics and, you know, skirting on this thing to see what's bent and what's straight.
Yeah, I'm sure once you get all this off, all kind of stuff's going to be...
Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of that, but it ain't something we can't handle for sure. Now, once we get everything back straight, I want to go back with new plastics, bumpers, front and rear. And we'll probably wrap the new plastics too to not have the...
Everybody else look.
Exactly. If we're going to do it, we might as well make it special for it. We'll put doors on this thing, to get rid of that. It's not as safe as doors on this thing. We'll top it off with some lighting and, she had speakers underneath here, but we'll add some cool ones to it. Once we get all the bottom of this thing all nice and straight, we'll go back with a custom cage, just a one-off, and we'll make the roof a little longer, stronger, meaner, and a lot cooler looking.
It's really cool to do this back for her and make it all back to something she really enjoyed. It's going to be better than Christmas for her.
Be nice to be a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Doug's definitely going to be Grandpa of the Year.
I might adopt him as my grandpa.
Keegan and Joey are going to tear this down so I can see what shape the chassis is in.
Did you ever have one of these in here, kid?
Not something like this big, but maybe a little small, a little tiny 4x4.
Little small one?
Yeah, ride around every once in a while.
Good?
Yeah.
Good over there? Ready to go up.
Tweak to the rear of the frame on the little side-by-side, so what I'm going to use is the porta-power here. It's basically a slender jack, so you put the little pieces together until it fits into place, put it in between the frame and the bent part of the frame, jack it up perfectly straight when I'm done. Double check the level real quick on that.
It's riding the line a little bit, but it's still in between the lines.
But we want it on the money.
Well, it's off. It needs to come up on this one.
This one? Up?
Yes. Come on up, right there.
Being thrown through the air like it was, this frame is in better shape than I thought it was going to be. Check it right here. But even small bends to it can have huge consequences.
It's kind of wobbly on that thing.
So our first step, we need to straighten it up.
Go up on it?
Yeah. Go up, Mo. Up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Let's get a long piece of tubing and stick right here. We went just a little too far, so we can give it a little tweak.
Okay.
So we're jacking it up, push a little bit. So you got to push it up just past level, so when the tension releases, it comes back level, right? Well, we went just a little bit too far, so we're just going to take a big bar, twist that sucker again, and make it perfect. Man, do that one more time. I think you got it. Perfect. Size-wise, this 20, but because of the tornado literally threw it a quarter of a mile, it's got some big issues. Jamie fixed the axles, we straightened the frame, so now we can put on new plastics and doors.
All right, Jamie, I think we're ready for the door, man.
Well, let's see what happens.
Try to get the other door on.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Hey, Bill.
Huh?
Everything's in. Man, this is how much further than it's supposed to be.
34 3/8 to the center of that hole.
That one ain't in the same shape.
That's 32 1/8. Yeah, it's been a little bit.
It's got a belly.
Typical job, you thought was cut and dry. Okay, this is bent, let's fix it. Done. Everything should line up, right? Well, that's not the way it works. Start putting the doors on it, notice, whoa, this doors overlaps the body by an inch. So trying to just bend it back an inch is going to be pretty difficult.
Where do we even start to pull it?
Let's get this thing off of here, get it loaded up on the back of the wrecker.
Okay.
We'll strap it down and see if we can pull it with the winch.
Cool.
Tilt forward. We got the front and the back of the frame are still tweaked. So we're going to use the wrecker and the winch to stretch the body, all while keeping the integrity of the frame.
And it's the only tool I can think of. We can pull it at multiple points at one time and still hold everything from the back, strap it down to the wrecker. So we'll see what happens. Here, come do this real quick. Let me look at it.
Okay.
Okay? I'll tell you when to stop. Just go as easy as you possibly can.
All right.
Okay, do it again. All right. Cut off. All right. You know, the wrecker and the winch definitely done its job. Door's got plenty of room now. We definitely tweaked it, moved it forward. You know, the next thing is getting everything back nice and level so it all lines up and everything will be on the money.
On the other side of the shop, Tim and John are finishing up the extra large wheel tubs on that 2020 Denali.
Now we got a completed extended rear tub. Now I can get this placed in the bed, clamped with a straight edge across the top, get it tacked in place. That fits nicely. I like it. Place. Now we can weld these things fully and get ready to move on to capping these edges and putting the bed back on the truck.
We have the tubs made here. Now we need to make the filler go down to here. Something to keep the dirt out of there, the mud, the water coming out all the way. This will really just enclose the wheels and is add strength and structure to the tub. So we're gonna tack it, when we come back and grind it, it'll all look like one piece, like it wasn't made out of three pieces. This whole tub will look like a one piece you just set in here.
Because the Denali needs to look like a show truck and perform like a work truck, we need to build a massive set of control arms to keep all that weight going straight down the road.
Building control arms for a bigger truck, you want to have a stronger arm than your typical square body or regular half-ton pickup truck. That's why we use thicker material, bigger, better ball joints to be able to accommodate not only the weight of the vehicle, but the weight that's actually attached to the back of it as well.
Go ahead and throw the wheel on, just to make sure when it pushes out, we're not hitting here. We clear everything. See what it looks like laid out too.
Yeah. The top of this bar is going to rip messy. That represents our suspension being bottomed out completely, which in turn means the truck laid out all the way on the floor.
Man, you think it looks good in there? You got to see it from out here. It ate up half that wheel, put it all the way in there. It looks good. It looks real good.
Does it look as good as me?
We sent the chassis off to powder coat. Now we can get to reconnecting, which is probably miles of wire, back into a space that's way more limited.
So when we first got started with this truck, I was hooking all of this, that was easy. Very easy. But going back and putting it all in, laying all the harnesses out, that's really, really not fun. Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here. I was starting to feel good until I seen you walk over with that. Was that heavy?
A little bit. Now I know why this is a 1 ton.
Needed a 1 ton just to hold up all the harness.
Yeah. You got this, buddy.
We're going to have to get that box to fit through there.
We got to get all these wires, all these sensors, everything plugged back. Almost everything works on a loop, where if this isn't connected, half the truck on that side won't work. If something's not connected, a little sensor in the back, this might not work, that might not work. So everything has to be plugged in just as it's factory, so the computer doesn't throw any codes or act like there's a problem anywhere.
Custom frame for the 2020 Denali is back from powder coat. The white is going to match perfect with the body.
You know, the powder makes a really, really nice coating on it, and it gets into every crack and crevice. From the raw steel, raw tubing, raw pipe, to this, it's come a long ways. It looks totally different once you get some color on it.
Definitely. Looks real good.
fact that it's color matched to the truck. It didn't look like you just took some frame and put anything. You know that frame goes to that truck on those wheels. Now everything unloaded, everything's situated on the table. We can start assembling the frame, put the motor and transmission on it, roll it underneath the body, and put the body down. It's gonna look good. The big billet wheels on it, going down the road.
Tornado damage on the 2019 Polaris. Now Jamie and I are going to build a custom cage from scratch. You know, the tornado definitely threw this thing for many loops, but you know, we got this thing back where it needs to be. The next step is building the cage. So once the cage is built, tied into the framework of the little side-by-side, everything is going to be super strong and not bend or give. And it's going to hold everything perfectly level and straight. So what I'm going to do first is just start bending some pipe up, get the angles right, and kind of step back and look at it, see what feels right, and just keep building upon that. Send it over here. Jump to the forward, please. What I want to do is build a sporty custom cage. We obviously have to replace what's missing. So if we're going to do that, I want to make something, you know, a little bit lower profile, stretch it a little bit. Instead of just buying a new one online, you know, that's what we do. We build custom things. So not only, you know, put some safety back in it, some rigidity back in it, but put some custom coolness back in it too. I like the way how everything flows, man. It looks good, and it's super strong too. She's gonna be happy.
Definitely looks real good together.
My kids are gonna be so jealous.
Oh, we gotta build another one?
Man, it's come a long way since this little side-by-side was tossed by the tornado. Jamie's making a custom aluminum roof.
That bit's nice. We're happy with that.
And we had a custom wrap made for it. We're adding in a brand new stereo system and some light bars. I can't wait for Doug's granddaughter to see this thing now. So I'm really excited. You know, we finally got this project done. Today's the day we're going to give it back to some special little girl. You know, typically I would usually turn a project away like this, but you know, considering it's for Doug and what it means to Doug and his family, you know, I can't not help out on this.
What's going on, Bill? Hey, good to see you.
How you doing, man?
This is my granddaughter, McKinley.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I heard a lot about you. Grandpa's pretty proud of you.
That's right.
Your grandpa was telling me you were in a little scary little incident a while back. Tell me what happened.
There was a tornado.
You were in the tornado? Was that scary?
Yeah.
Man, I bet it was. Not only your house was totally gone, there was something you really loved was gone too, right? What was that?
My buggy.
The wind took it way far away?
Down to our pond.
In the pond? It was messed up bad, huh?
Yes.
Her buggy was only 6 months old, so I knew I had to bring it here to get it fixed. It meant a lot to her. Now it's time to see what Bill and the boys have done.
I tell you what, we got you fixed up. Grandpa got you fixed up. You ready to check it out?
Yeah.
I bet you are. I bet you ready to ride.
You ready to ride?
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Let's see it. Holy cow, look at that, McKinley. Man, that is awesome, Bill. Look at that. What do you think?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Golly. Wow. Bill, that don't even look like the same buggy.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Man.
Last time you seen it was a little squished, huh?
Yeah. When the buggy came out, I was so excited to see it. Let's just say I was speechless.
Man, that thing looks great, Bill. Tell me what all y'all did.
Well, you seen the parts we had to work with, right?
Yeah, I did.
Once we put it on the lift, we started dismantling it. We really noticed the frame was hurt a lot more than originally thought.
Yeah.
You know, the plastics and everything were hiding a lot of damage underneath there. It had to replace the rear axle, replaced all the plastics. So we put new bumpers on it. And of course, it didn't have...
What's that on the door?
A tornado.
A tornado?
Had Pixelworks come over and they custom wrapped it. They designed this wrap for you.
For you. You know how we know it's just for you? It's got Doodle on the door.
Hey, where'd you get the name Doodle?
Popsy gave it to me.
Popsy gave it to you? That's awesome.
Man, it looks great, Bill. It really does.
build a whole new cage. We made all that in-house. Instead of buying, just a replacement, we made it a little bit shorter and a little bit more laid back. Give it a little more cool look, sleek look. Made a new roof for it, made it a little bit longer. We made it all out of aluminum. Went back with lighting, had to put the stereo back in it. And we put some little antennas on the back with lights in them.
That's all. What do you say?
Thanks, you.
You're very welcome. Doug, I know this is special for you, and it's special for us.
Man, that's nice, isn't it?
Thank you for letting us be a part of this very special project. Over on the other side of the shop, the guys are making good progress on the rolling chassis. And now it's the moment of truth.
4 links to the axle, hook the airbags up, and then we'll be able to run all the brake lines, the brake calipers, put the front wheels on, we can air it up and roll it out. But we have to put all the wiring on there, all the modules, the DEF, all that's going back on. So the whole thing will be hooked back up like it was factory. Now it's just the tedious part of just putting it all back together.
This 2020 Denali wants this low and loud. We got the low taken care of. Now to make it loud by finishing up the articulating speakers. I got the hard part done. I got the lifting part that's going to lift the speakers over the bed. The next step to all this is making it motorized. So I'm going to put an actuator on the back to lift this up, but I'm going to try to do it with just one actuator and trying to make it lift evenly. That's another little trick too. So once that's all set up, put 12 volts to it, it should lift these speakers right up over the bed. It's pretty dang close. The whole object of this whole bracketry is pushing a button and having the speakers come out of the bed. It's just a whole overall project, right? What I'm going to do is cut out a piece of 2x2 square tubing to make a bracket for the lower part of the actuator. Affix it to the whole bracket, push a button, and it lifts up. We got all our little pieces cut. We got everything mocked up. The next step is putting some power to it and see if this actually works. Everything we build, you have a general idea. Once you have the idea, then you start building plans. The main thing is just having the creativity of having the idea. That's a huge hurdle. Once you have that, it's just using your skills, using your tools, and just making it happen. Pretty cool. Everything back from powder coat. We've got all the front suspension on, the rear suspension's on, brake lines are ran, fuel lines are ran. We're at the exciting point now. We can finally marry this cab to this chassis. It's like you do everything, and here's the keys to the new house. Now you can move in.
Is that in?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Just trying to line up here to line up this bolt with this hole. There, go straight down. It makes it much easier. Plus, the motor's so tight, the transmission's so tight that you don't have a lot of room side to side. Right? Ready? Yeah. So we put it down. It's a little bit too far off. We'll hit the body. We could hit a module. Could hit something else. So we're taking a little bit of time. Line this up. Drop the whole thing down, and everything should clear. How's the radiator look?
We're getting close.
Watch your fingers. We married the cab to the chassis. We're about to do the bed to the chassis. All right, we gotta watch this bar when we set this down. We can't scratch it.
Down, 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 down.
Go forward, down. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
And now you can see the bed on the truck. You can see all the notch coming through that's gonna hold the gooseneck. All that white shining through the black bed liner just stands out and pops really nice.
Now we got about 40% of the wiring done. This thing got so much electrical going on. It's about a full day of work just messing with wiring. This is the main fuse box to the whole vehicle. If this ain't hooked up correctly, it needs to be sent. I should only go on one way. See that little green thing pop up? That means it's connected and tight. The plug from the bottom is seated properly to the pins at the bottom of this fuse panel.
Man, we're at the final stages of getting this truck off the lift and on the ground. Seems like we've been doing wiring for 4 days now.
I'm so sick of seeing wires. Most of them are plugged in. Only a few left that are really giving me a hard time. There is just a ton of wiring and connectors that gotta get crammed in the areas and tied down. Oh man, so much stuff.
On big builds like this, it's super satisfying to see it all come together at the end. 28-inch wheels, speakers attached to articulating arms in the bed. We're ready to show this to the world.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been here 7 years now.
I've been here 7 years also.
Oh yeah, sure have, huh?
This year will be 12 years.
That's 12 too many.
You know, it's like anything, when you start here, you know, Bill has his own way of doing it, and then you start seeing a new helper show up. He starts doing it some other way, and you're like, maybe the way Bill's going to want it.
Yeah, so you got to pass it on. Everything will roll along a lot smoother doing it the way we've done it.
It's definitely easier, you know, that we work together so much that we already know how this other person works. Now I know what you're going to do, I know how you're going to do it, and I can pick up right where y'all left off.
We just practically became mind readers. We know what each other's
yeah.
We know what each other's doing and how to continue.
Pretty sure I spend more time here than home.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can guarantee I've opened that gate and shut that gate more than Bill himself.
You're right about that.
The big day for the 2020 Denali is finally here. And JD drove all the way down from Kansas City to see what we've been up to.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Bill? Good to see you again.
Dang, good to see you, man. It's a great day, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Great day to pick up a dually.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I heard you got a little car collection yourself.
Yeah, I do. I got quite a few lifted trucks, a few hot rods.
But never anything lowered.
Yeah, nothing slammed.
You know, what finally clicked and said, I gotta have a lowered dually?
I heard it was the world's first. I had to do it. Nothing better than a lowered dually. The reason why I wanted a lowered truck this time is just pulling up to shows, being able to slam it down to the ground, watch people's, response, just something different than the lifted truck scene that's been going on the last few years.
I love lifted trucks, but, close to my heart is lowered trucks, and especially lowered dualies.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
You ready to check it out?
I am.
All right, come on, Timmy. Let's check it out.
Oh, no way! No way! Oh! Yeah, you guys knocked this out of the park. Yes. Yes. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes. Hey, I wanted it low. You got it low for me. Yeah, that looks good. The white frame, color matched everything, sitting on the ground. This is beyond my expectations. I can't believe it.
What you think?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. I mean, Timmy, John, they got down on this, as always. Well, how we had to start is picked it up on the lift and just started unbolting and unbolting and unbolting. Once that was all done, rolled it out and just got busy. Built the suspension, the air suspension on it, to building super strong control arms, to a big, heavy-duty four-link for the rear. I mean, this is one of the biggest, strongest frames we've ever built here. I mean, it is overkill.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you want. That peace of mind when you're going down the road, you want to know that everything is 100% strong and built the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you guys did it. So it's absolutely amazing what these guys can do. Can take a brand new 2020 truck, take the old frame out and build a frame from scratch. I mean, I'm just absolutely blown away.
JD, what do you think about those wheels?
Yeah, I love them.
A 28-inch dually wheel on something that low, it just makes a huge, huge statement.
Yeah, the polish looks great on them. engraved the Richline Motorsports in it. Perfect fit, too.
To finish it all off, you see everything's been color matched. Got rid of all the black plastic. We smoothed all that out, painted it body color. You know, it just makes this truck look classy.
Yeah, it does. It's not too much chrome, not too much white. It just all flows together.
Let's check out under the hood.
Yeah, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. I can't believe that you guys took all this out and got it back in. Right. And still made it look factory. Yeah, that's amazing.
Man, it was hard enough getting the motor up to the cowl, much less.
Yeah, I got the tubs in here, color match everything. I mean, it looks great.
I appreciate that. You think this is cool. I really got something to show you in the back.
Yeah, let's check it out. I'm excited to see it. Oh, yeah. God, that is crazy. You can see everything.
Right?
Got the gooseneck in here. That is amazing.
That isn't just something that just bolts into the bed. That is all made directly to the frame. It's artwork made into the framework itself.
Yeah, this should be able to pull anything that I need to pull.
Absolutely. Those huge airbags on there, just pick this big truck right off the ground with whatever weight you got on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
You wanted some speakers in the back.
Yeah, I see that you guys added the speakers in here.
Show me the other part?
Yeah, Timmy hit it. You know, down here in the bed's cool. It's going to make, you know, a lot of noise, but check this out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
It's just one more thing. People are just going to go, what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Not only, you know, the look of the truck is going to draw people, when they hear this sound, it's just going to project for a mile away.
Yeah, that's awesome how it's got the actuator to bring it right up. I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. This is a dream come true right here. Hey, you know what? Maybe next SEMA, I can find something a little bit harder for you guys.
JD, you threw us a tall order, but as you can see, we came through, and I can't wait for the world to see it at SEMA. Lincoln is just, it's iconic.
Man, we're gonna take all the 1964 off this car. We're gonna make everything modern.
435 horsepower Fury.
I thought this thing was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap.
Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know, and we're gonna chop it off. It's called a sling ray. It started as a Polaris slingshot with 3 wheels. I just didn't feel like it was finished right. No matter how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
Holy cow!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You might have noticed we had this 64 Lincoln sitting in the lot for quite some time. 4 or 5 years, I don't really know how many.
Well, numbers off this thing. I think I got this thing sold.
Really? Yeah. I've been wanting to hear that for quite a while. It's one of those things. I bought it for a build, and it just never happened. So it never left. Man, I was beginning to think this thing was going to be here forever.
Well, it might not be going too far. I think our buyer is gonna want us to build it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. It don't get any better than that, right? Make a little money on the sale, and then make a little money on the customization.
That is for sure.
These are always cool cars, man. I mean, the 64 Lincoln is just, it's iconic. Been itching to do some stuff to one of these for quite a while. There's so much you can do to these things. I mean, this thing's 20 feet long, and it's almost 20 feet wide.
20 feet of Fury, but it's more of a boat than it is a car.
You're right.
Maybe put some propellers on the back or something, take it around the lake.
Hey, before you get too far, man, let's make sure you get this thing sold.
I'm not making any promises, but I'm 100% going to sell this car today.
I like that confidence, man. Let's see what you got.
Let's do it.
Somebody just walking around Sunny Drive, these old cars might not look like much. You know, I wouldn't keep them all around if I didn't see the potential of what they could be. The whole trick is to find someone that wants that project. Once you have that, it's really satisfying to bring these old cars back to life.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hey, Hey, man, real good. Congratulations. You're the new owner of the 16.
It's a fantastic car. You know, ever since I rode in one about 25 years ago, wanted to get one of these, you know, a nice convertible Lincoln Continental ever since.
The one you bought is a coupe. It still has its top on it. You know that, right?
Can you guys help me with that?
So you wanted to make this thing a convertible?
That would be sweet, yeah.
Man, we can definitely do that. That'd be real cool. Just chop the top off, weld all the seams up, and just make it a convertible all year round.
All year round, yep.
Where are you located?
I'm outside of Boston, so we'll have to make sure it's got some heat.
We can definitely do that. How far are we taking it?
If you guys could do your magic and make it something really, really custom, really sweet for me, I'd love to have a really nice street cruiser that goes fast and handles well.
Man, we definitely got you on that. First thing, put a modern engine in it with a lot of power, reliability, just something you can get in, hit the key, and haul butt with.
Oh, I love it.
We'll put it on air suspension, big brakes, big wheels and tires, make this Lincoln ride really good, handle really well, and you're gonna look cool doing it.
That sounds awesome.
Any preference toward any colors, anything like that?
To me, a Lincoln Continental, that vintage has always been black, and then in the interior, I think like a white.
Kind of like a junior mint.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Frank wants this full-time convertible, so one thing we're gonna focus a lot on is the interior. That's a really, really important thing on any car, but especially build you something just totally custom and totally unique and just make this a piece of art.
All right.
Well, Frank, man, I know exactly what you want, and we're gonna make this thing happen for you.
All right, perfect. Can't wait to see it.
Talk to you later. You know, this job's like a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, it's really good to get this thing out of the lot, get it sold, but, you know, the other hand, I know exactly how much work is going to have to go into this. Every job has its own set of challenges, no different. You know, I'm really nervous. One of the things you dread most on a car this old, been sitting for quite some time, is rust. I mean, rust destroys everything. I mean, it's a New Mexico car, nice and dry climate. It should be pretty solid, but once we blast it, we'll know for sure.
Max, there's a ton of Lincolns, ton of them been done. What are we going to do that's going to be different?
It's not what we're doing, it's what aren't we doing? You know, I definitely got a couple concerns on this thing. First, you see the rust going through on the hood and trunk lid, right? That's definitely not going to bust. Looks pretty solid, but we won't know until we get it blasted. You know, the next thing, engine out of this thing is going to have brand new power plant. Yeah. We want that Cody in here. Put the Ford engine with the Ford body. Very cool. You know, keep it all legit. As far as the interior, everything completely out. We're going to start fresh on that. We really want to focus on the interior too, because there's not going to be a top on it. Where is the top going? The top's going in the scrap bin. We're just totally roastering, cutting the roof completely off this thing, taking all the glass out and capping the doors and the deck lid. 100% no top all the time. That's awesome. You know we got to make this thing low to the ground. Get this thing on air suspension, get it all the way on the ground, freshen everything up. 24x8s in the front, 24x10s in the back, new brakes, all joints, everything. Start 100% fresh.
Tell me we're going black.
You know, I totally agree with Frank. This car just needs to be black. Not just a normal black, not just a deep black. We're going to give it something that wakes it up a little bit. It's going to be cool. You know, the chrome just really makes this car. I mean, we definitely need to keep this on it.
I think it's mostly here.
Yeah, I think it's all here. Re-chrome the bumpers, grille. Man, it really stand out against that black. Awesome. First things first is getting some totally stripped.
We'll get some people. We'll get started.
I want to go get a bunch of parts.
Ready? Ready? We'll take the trunk off and the lid off. I'll go get John, take all the interior out. Hey, we got the trunk out. So far, I'm pleasantly surprised. It didn't look as bad as I thought. When John gets the carpet out, this will be a telltale sign to see how the floor looks in this thing.
One of the challenges with these old cars is everything's stripped out, everything's rusted, nothing really wants to come apart, so a lot of times you just got to turn the bolts into liquid. Just stuck to the floor. It's still standing here. That's a plus.
Surprisingly, it looks really good. This floor could have been a whole lot worse. We're gonna take all the 1964 off this car. We're gonna make everything modern, make everything handle better, drive better, stop better. So to do that, we need a clean slate. We're gonna take all this old stuff, get it out of here. So now we get it blasted, it's gonna be a fresh new start. We won't have to deal with 60 years of dirt, grease, and grime. We can weld right to it, and we know it's ready to go. Can I go up? Up. Go.
Go down. Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Whew. It was a lot of dirty work, but we finally got this thing all stripped down. The next big surprise is going to be when it comes back from blast.
Depending on how backed up the media blaster is, sometimes a project can take up to 2 weeks to come back. But other times, like in this case, it's the next day.
And it came back from blast. That side doesn't look as bad. I want you to look at this side. It looks a lot rougher than when it left. Especially, I don't know what's going on here. You're speechless?
Man, I thought this thing, was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap, right?
The paint was all faded. You would think over time you'd start to see stuff coming back through it, but it was well hidden.
Man, very well. The other side looks decent. The floorboards look decent. Everything underneath looks good.
Yep. Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know. The roof looks really good. We're going to chop it off. Well, we got to do what we got to do now. We're already too deep in this thing to do anything about it. So we'll just replace the fender. Probably going to replace the quarter. Let's get it. You always hate it when a car comes back from media blast and it's in worse shape from what you thought. The 1964 Lincoln is a lot worse. Luckily, Max sourced some old replacement panels. That way Jamie can get busy and get them replaced.
This thing's pretty much beyond repair. I mean, all the Swiss cheese down here, these ripples into the door jamb, and then we come to the front right here. This is pretty much the same story. It's too far gone. We don't want to put any metal like that back. So best thing to do, go ahead and cut this off, skin this with a new fender, and send it back to the body shop. Let's get started. All these little indentions are spot tacks. I have to drill everyone out. So cue the time lapse. Spot tacks are just about out, so we'll go ahead and score a line right next to this door to make it easier to go ahead and get these leftover spot tacks out. Just a quick cut with a cutoff wheel, and we'll have this panel off. This was on another car a week ago. Just an old 64, 65 fender. I always like to use original parts instead of like a repop. The new metal is a little bit thinner, the old metal is a little bit thicker and stronger. On this panel, there's a chrome trim piece right here. If I don't need even, you'll see a gap on the chrome. So it's really important that I clamp everything right where it needs to go. In the old days, this is how they did it with the spot tacks. Nowadays, they glue panels together. I mean, I don't know. I've seen glue come apart, so you'll never catch me using a glue gun. It's always going to be a welder. Okay, that one's in. Everything looks good. Go ahead and move on to the back now.
I look up, I've been wanting to see this thing for quite some time. It's called a sling ray. It rolled into SEMA a couple years ago. And man, people haven't stopped talking about it since. Tim, what's happening?
What's up, Bill? How you doing, brother?
Man, all right. Man, I finally get to see this thing in person.
Sure do, man. What do you think of it?
Man, it's crazy. But finally seeing this thing in person, it's amazing. I mean, it's a work of art. It started as a Polaris slingshot, which is an auto cycle with 3 wheels.
We basically turned it into a 4-wheel conversion instead of 3 like the typical.
That's unbelievable.
Dropped in an LS3 with a stage 2 Whipple. And of course, we did this crazy exoskeleton to match Corvette ZR1. 650 plus horsepower, a huge sound system in it, and it's all on air ride.
Crazy.
Big adult go-kart.
This is the kind of thinking that I like, just totally out of the box. It's what brings you by, man.
A couple little things that, when I got the car back, basically just weren't complete. I just didn't feel like it was finished right.
I totally get it. No matter how cool, how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
The engine bay over there, there's a lot of where you can see the wiring and everything else, that we needed like some kind of like sheet metal or something, that cool cover plate.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Big void right here. You can build a sheet metal panel, give it some bead rolling, make it look really nice. And the filter, man, yeah. It definitely needs something else on there for sure.
Started on the filter. I can always tell who the haters are, because that's the first thing they talk about every time they look at this car. Everything else in this car is completely custom, so I think that should be too.
I might just have to test drive this thing, personally, and just make sure the suspension is right, the engine's performing right, just make sure everything's right for you.
Of course, man, whatever you gotta
look out for you.
Oh, I know you're looking out for me. I'm sure you want to take it for a spin to get that, get the feel for those compartments.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure,
Oh yeah, I totally get it, man. Of course, take it for a spin.
Looking at this, it's just a tease.
Man, I've been seeing this thing on the internet. I didn't think I'd see it in person.
Come on, man, let's go check it out. When you see a car like this, a vehicle like this, you gotta get behind the wheel and just feel it. This thing is great to drive. Handles good, rides good. It's got unbelievable amount of power. That's exactly what you want, driving something like this. I can totally understand the obsession of getting this thing 100% right and 100% finished. Everywhere you go, it draws a huge crowd. Everybody wants to talk to you about it. What I'm to ask is, how come this isn't finished right here? When we're done with this, there's not going to be a reason for that guy to say one word.
So what are we doing to this thing?
Everything has been done to this thing, which is everything.
Yeah.
Once you have a project done like this, there's always that 1 or 2 or 10 things that you see that nobody else sees. Once you see those things, you can't unsee it. You're just fixated on it until it's fixed. Of course, one of the things is the air filter. This thing is way too cool to have something that uncool on it. The next thing, it's got a couple little pockets in the front, little factory, little voids where you see down in it, just looks unfinished. We're going to fabricate custom panels on both sides of the engine to hide all that wiring. And then we'll color match them with two-tone paint.
Clean it up real good?
Yeah. It's really cool to get a project like this in the shop, even though we didn't build it. It's good to be a part of it. Saying, because you can see right into the engine. The look of the covers are designed so to go over with the overall flow of the sling ray. Basically, I'm going to start out with a blank chipboard pen. I'm going to scratch out a couple designs, see if I can get some things to work and fit around these areas, make it something you want to look at instead of something you look away from. I'm just getting a rough outline. I'm going to see how I can tie everything in together to hide as much of these wires and these canisters as I can, because it's not very nice to look at. It's time consuming, but it's definitely necessary. See how much better it ties in already? That's already looking a lot better. As you can see, it's not just a flat piece of metal. It's got a lot of shapes and bends and contours. It's busy. I'm gonna have a lot of little tricky details on this one little panel, and I also have to duplicate this to the other side, which makes it even harder. For most car guys, the sling ray is almost a perfect build. But even then, there's always one more thing. So right now, Jamie's making some custom panels to hide all that wiring. So now I got all my pieces right here. Taking the tape off, kind of just breaking them down into flat panels. Try to space put them wherever. Once I do that, go ahead and cut it out, and then I'll start shaping it. So rather than making another template for the other side,
go ahead and make my template out of the copies that I just cut out. It'll just be mirrored, flipped. That'll be my other side. So this is my passenger side, this is my driver's side, this is the side I made my template from. So I'm gonna take my template, mark both panels out at once so they're exactly the same. I put the same bins, the same roll, everything in it at the same time. All right, let's cross fingers. Take your time to do this. You can't just rush this. This has to be planned out. One wrong bend and you might as well throw the panel away. You can look at it right now and see that everything's exactly the same contour, but my bend right here connects right to my bend right there. This first one, now just a couple more left to go. Pretty happy with the shape. I'm ready to tack everything up. Pretty happy with the way this is starting to look. So all I need to do is mirror the other side, then I can continue on forming on this piece around the edge.
We made real progress on the suspension for the 64 Lincoln. We tied the two links directly into the existing unibody.
How's your chain link look? Parallel or what?
Looks pretty close right here.
We're buttoning up the bag mounts, and then we're moving on to turning this into a roadster.
Go ahead and tack it on the corner, just like you did on the other side.
You know, being here at Extensive working on these Lincolns, it's always cool to be able to put these parts on and see it all come together, and once it drives out and you see it sitting on the ground, it's pretty awesome.
Before you just go chopping a top off, you know, it's critical to reinforce the body first. This whole Lincoln is a unibody car, so that means there's no frame underneath this thing. The body itself is super rigid and doesn't need a frame, but we just can't cut the roof off or the whole car just bend in half, right? So what we need to do is cut 2 inches out of here and put in 2x4 box tubing in it. So this thing is really, really, really rigid. Let's get it, man. Once you get on that side and just kind of replicate what I'm doing on this side, we'll knock it out real quick. Straight as you can, right on the outside of the line, because it's going to be a lot easier to put the tubing in and out with it not being right on it. But you don't want to get too far out because that's a bigger gap we have to weld up, and that just takes more time. Once that's out of the way, we can see what's under it, see how much farther to go.
That's good right there. From underneath, it's one piece of metal that just curves around into the floor. So I raised it up to get a better angle with the cutting wheel. That'll be way easier than doing it from inside the car.
Yeah. Like a glove, pretty much what we have now is a frame for this thing. That tubing is going to hold the majority of the flex and weight of this car.
It was a pain, but we got it done.
Well, you ain't done yet. You know, you got the other half to do. Let's just get one side in at a time to make sure this thing doesn't buckle and bend and twist.
We'll finish getting these tacked in. I'm gonna go ahead and weld them out. These welds are gonna take a while. You don't wanna stay in one spot too long and have it heat up and distort the metal, so you gotta jump around and make sure it's done right.
Got this piece without a roof. The door frames will lose their structural integrity, so I made a support to put the strength and rigidity back into it. Everything looks good. We got everything welded in nice and solid. It's a lot of welding, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now I got this for the pillar. That's going to keep everything nice and strong. Make sure these doors shut the same way as before when we had the top on it.
All right.
Man, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
Because the Lincoln's not going to have a roof, the interior is going to be that much more visible. With that in mind, John and Brian are getting after it, making one-off door panels.
Oh, what you got there? Man, I come with breakfast tacos and dreams.
Okay.
So, my idea, instead of just a pleated panel, wood pleats. We'll take this board and cut it down to be about 3/8 of an inch thick, and basically cut the pleats into the wood.
I see.
Do a pearl white on top of this so the grain really pops out on it.
We carry that throughout the vehicle. That'll look really cool.
I know, that's why I was kind of like
Got it. That's what we're gonna do. But first, taco. Now I got them cut to size. Next thing I gotta do is cut them in half the long way. Get them 2 pieces the right thickness. We'll run them through the planer, get everything smooth, nice and neat, and then we'll cut our pleats in it. I've set up a fence on the table saw. I want 1.5 inch wide pleats, so cut me some 1.5 inch wide strips. Follow the fence, make the first cut, then I'll stack one in, make another cut, another cut, another cut. Each time I put one of those in there, it moves me 1.5 inches over, gives my spacing evenly all the way across the board, so we get all these things cut and we'll be looking good. All right, so with that done, as you can see, we've got our pleats all the way across here. Everything's cut, they're nice and even. So the next thing we'll do, clean up the edges, and they'll be ready to stain.
All right, let's go.
We're adding a lot of power to the 64 Lincoln with the brand new Coyote 5.0.
435 horsepower of fury.
Down.
Like it's supposed to be there.
Now that we finished the air suspension and reinforced the body, we can get going to turning this thing into a roadster.
We're gonna do a one-weather car?
Yeah, there's no putting the top back on after this.
One shot deal.
Cheers. We'll chop down low right here. And once we cap this part of the door, all this flows together. You know, you open the doors, man, it'll look nice without that indention there.
That's gonna be a clean body line right there. That's gonna look slick.
After we get it cut, we'll have the doors open all out of the way. And if we did our job right, the doors shut back in the right spot, right?
Everything's braced up super solid. I mean, I don't think it's gonna move at all. It's not going to move at all. I'm about to cut this piece out right here. It's gonna be below our doors jammed, so it's just gonna fade right on in. You'll never see it. Got the front half pretty much cut. Now I'm just gonna go on this line right here. That's it.
Got it?
She's loose.
3 feet. Oh, yeah.
Got a little splinter.
Ooh.
Ready. All right. Got a hard top for sale. Whoa.
Let's see if the door's shut.
All right. Look at that.
Looks good, man.
I think they should have made them like this.
Should be a factory option.
The custom filler panels for the sling ray, they're all welded out. Now it's time to add some colors.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, just checking this thing out. Jamie just did a really good job making the filler panels for this. Next step, get it all color matched, making it look good. I don't want it to stand out, so I want this wrinkle black so it all matches everything else. Paint this the silver to match the little trim on the side.
Make a two-tone and match the texture and the color at the same time.
Yeah.
It's gonna look sick, man.
Yeah, let me know when you get done with it.
All right, man.
Bill said he wants it a two-tone. From right here, over here, it will be base coat, clear coat, so it will be all gloss. From right here to this side, it will be all texture to match the rest of the car. I'm gonna have to cover this whole piece right here and pretty much leave this wide open. I'm showing you why I'm using this kind of texture is because it's actually real close to the texture of the car, so it'll match really good once this whole thing's done. It's gonna look real nice.
Now Jamie can get the new intake in.
Yeah, it looks good.
And we're ready to give this right back to Tim.
Morning, Bill.
Man, good morning, Tim.
Good, man. How you doing, dude?
Good, man.
You want them donuts? Nah, man, I'm good. I already had my coffee today. So I figured you didn't call me for donuts this morning, huh?
Might have something to show you.
Super excited to see it, man.
Why don't you just have your little donut, and I'll be right back.
All right. Deal. Oh, man! This thing looks sick. As soon as Bill pulled out, first thing I could look at was the engine compartment. Those new custom panels and that air intake looks awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better. Absolutely love it. Man, dude, looks amazing, man. I love it.
You know, Tim, when you came in, it looked unfinished to you. I mean, there was just a couple of little issues here and there that you can't unsee once it's in your brain. You got to address it.
Oh, right? Definitely, man.
So that's what we did. Got it in the shop. Jamie got busy pounding some metal out, forming those panels for you. Man, he comes through.
Yeah.
Always.
Looks so good. I actually was only expecting some flat sheet metal panels, you know, maybe some bead roll on it, but they actually contoured the metal parts to where it actually looks like it's part of the car. It looks so cool.
After he hammered those out, shipped them over to the body shop, you know, they do what they do. Made these things super slick, two-tone paint, and added a texture on the inside, so it looks like a part you would get from the dealership.
Dude, it does. It totally wraps up this engine bay, though, for sure.
Well, that and
the intake.
The air intake that you had on there, it looked kind of cheesy, but now it's just over the top. You guys replicated the body from a Corvette, so, you know, just got a 2017 Z06 intake, made it just flow with the rest of it. These are definitely the jobs that, you know, just the little tweaks here and there makes such a huge statement. Goes a long way with the customer.
Just wraps it all up.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think this is now complete. Let's go and drive it.
Hey, speaking of,
yeah,
I got something I've been wanting to do.
What is it, man?
Man, I always wanted to do donuts while eating donuts.
What?
Yeah, man. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while.
You want to do it?
Man, let's do it.
I'll hold this.
All right. I like donuts. I like doing donuts. So, how do you top that off? You do donuts while eating donuts. Great day. Got a donut hanging out of my mouth, rubber flying, smoke everywhere, Tim screaming. Doesn't get better than that.
I really tried hard to play cool. I was like, I'm done. Wow, man, that was wild. You're crazy.
Did I wake you up a little bit?
Just a little bit, man. Good idea.
We're painting the 64 Lincoln and brought Lewis in to help him paint the custom wood door panels.
So what we've got here is oak, and it's a very grainy species of wood. So we're going to take the wire brush, and we're actually going to rip out all of the softwood to expose the true character of this species. You can start to see the difference on how the character of the grain is actually accented in the piece. All right, we got them all done. Now we just need to take them over to the paint booth, get some paint mixed up, and put some paint on them. Our base coat, you know, it's a brighter white. So what I've done is I've taken that base coat and added some of the pearl powders to it to get really close to the color of the vinyl that we're going to be using in the Lincoln. All right, so we got everything sprayed. We're going to let it dry. It looks really good. You can tell the wire brushing really helped to accent that grain. It's going to look sick, dude.
We're almost done making the 64 Lincoln topless. One of the last steps of the metalwork is capping the doors. You know, I love the no roof on this car. Warm, sunny day. Definitely not going to need the windows to roll up. So what we did is bent some 20-gauge sheet metal, and we're going to cap the doors so you just see smooth, custom lines and everything just flowing. And that's exactly what we want. Same spot. Right there. We put these bars across here. That way we know without having to get back and look at it that everything is 100% true straight. This is straight up against this tubing. It is perfectly parallel with that over there. You know, the way we do something like this is leave the panel that we made all in one piece. That way when we're tacking everything in, everything is 100% straight. Once you get it tacked in, all you need to do is go back and make a cut where the door opening is going to be, and then you fine tune the little edges, and before you know it, you got a cool custom cap for a 64 Lincoln. Look good. Let's go eat. The dash on the 64 Lincoln was in really rough shape. But John and Brian, they have no choice but to make it work.
Well, as you can see, this dash looks terrible. So we checked a couple of places, and no one on the interwebs has one. So that just meant we fixed the one we got. Just gonna take a little bit of fiberglass putty, or get it packed into here. We'll get it all body worked out. Now if that's done, the next thing we're going to do is start working on the defrost vent panel. We're going to mold in a speaker grill into that so we can put our speakers back in the factory location. We'll cut out a piece of wood. We'll just trace out our template. Once that's shaped out, a little bit of trim here to modify this factory panel so it'll fit in properly. Next thing to do, get it taped up, put it on the panel, get it body worked in. All right, got everything worked out on the dashboard. Looking good, body worked out, looks nice. The next thing we gotta do is wrap it. All right, so I got this nice white vinyl. Lay it up here, trace it all out, get our patterns done, and then sit down and sew it together. In order for this to lay out properly, we want to make sure we take the time to keep this nice and flat. If we get any wrinkles in it now, when we sew it together, it will be sewing a wrinkle into it. Off to the side. Now what we'll do, get these things sewn together. When I was growing up, I always wanted custom cars. I knew I couldn't afford it, so I had to figure out how to do it myself. I ended up sitting behind a sewing machine. But it's just kind of a natural progression. When you get into doing interiors, you kind of expand what you do, and the sewing actually helps you out. You can build anything you want, because no matter what, you'll be able to cover it. I got a nightmare.
Would look like a nightmare. How long is this thing?
About 11 feet. This is not going to be fun.
It's just so much material. You sure this thing fits?
I have a little bit of faith in my process. I don't know which worked. No glasses or clogged up glasses. So now that everything's glued, steamed, and in place, we're just going to take our knife, take a little patience, and work our way around it, get everything trimmed out. And once it's all trimmed out, this thing will be ready to go in the car.
We finished the body work for the Lincoln. Now we can get it into paint. The owner wants a high gloss black to contrast the all white interior. Beautiful. And now we can put back in the 5.0 Coyote engine.
That looks good on that nice black engine compartment. Yeah, it does. It's tight fit. Well, let's get everything else finished up so we can go for a ride.
We're adding some custom 22-inch wheels and tires, dash, door panels, and seats. And we even re-chromed the original chrome. Man, it's crazy to think this thing sat in our lot for years. And now it looks brand new again.
I've been in the industry for 15 years now. I've had the skills and the knowledge over the years, but just we've never had the workplace to be able to pull it off. But here, it's a whole nother world. John John was actually one of my instructors years ago. As an instructor, he knew exactly how to build you out as a person to turn you into a fabricator. It's really, really cool to have that kind of friendship / instructor going on, and it still carries on to this day. John hit me up on Facebook, and he's telling me there's a position available. I definitely knew I could not miss this opportunity. I had to take this. Since it is the major leagues over here, to get this opportunity and come here and to be able to use my skills and advance my skills, it's a very, very amazing feeling to feel like you've got to the top. It was a mind rush to see how this place operates and watch the vehicles come through and the speed we're having to build at, but still have the freedom to be able to build whatever we want. And I never would have thought I'd be standing here looking into this camera.
Old Lincoln's finally done. It's pretty funny. Frank's on his way to check out his one-weather car, and it's cold and rainy. Been a staple in the parking lot for quite some time. From a diamond in the rough to a full polished show car. Always knew his car was going to get finished one day.
Hey there, I'm here for a Lincoln.
Frank, what's happening?
Hey, Billy, Val, how are you guys?
It's a great day to pick up a one-weather car, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. I brought my rain jacket. I'm all set. You guys ready for me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I purchased that car years ago with intentions to eventually build it myself, but, I've been kind of busy over the last few years, you know what I mean? Man, I'm finally glad we're able to take it in, get it finished up. We built you something really special, man, really cool.
I am ready to see it.
Let's go
see this car.
Let's go see it.
All right. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to see this car. It's going to be fantastic.
Check this out.
Holy cow! Woo! That is... Out and saw that car. Oh my goodness, I was blown away. Just love at first sight. My wildest dreams, I had some ideas, but I couldn't even imagine anything like this.
All your buddies are going to be jealous.
Oh, they are. They are.
Frank, the rest of the world's going to be jealous about this car. There's nothing like seeing a big old long car with a no roof sitting on the ground like this one. You can't tell how many hours and hours of metal work that went into it. I thought it was a solid car. Once we got it blasted, came back, it was way, way worse shape than I originally thought. So we had to end up replacing the front fender, the rear quarter, and the hood also. Once we got the body straight, the fun begins. This car being, a unibody, just cutting the roof off isn't that easy. So what we had to do is go in and basically built a frame inside the body of the car to make it super rigid.
Give it enough stiffness so it's not twisting all over the place. Yeah, that's awesome.
So once we did that, we were able to cut the roof totally off, and we went and capped the top of the doors, and then capped the whole deck. I don't think it gets any cleaner than this.
It feels like poised and relaxed, but at the same time like ready to jump, like a Black Panther ready to pounce.
Of course, on a car like this, you gotta have it low. So that's what we did. All custom air suspension on it and set all the way on the ground. That just makes this car. Check out underneath the hood.
All right, let's take a look at the motor. Oh my God, that is incredible. Wow.
Right?
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Late model 5.0. You got about 450 horsepower under the hood now. This thing will get it.
Can't wait to get behind the wheel and try it out for myself.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad you like this. I know you kind of already seen it, but check out the interior.
All right, let's go look at the interior. That is awesome.
This is one of the most important aspects of the car itself. When, there's no roof, that's one of the first things you come up and look at. John and the guys, look.
They did an amazing job. It's incredible.
If you can see, it looks really, really clean. They put wood in all the door panels, wood accents all throughout, and then painted it all white. So it looks like something that would have came in this car back in the 60s.
Yep. The interior of this car is incredible. The white finishes with the piping on the seats, the white washed wood, it's just clean and perfect. Blew me out of the water. You not only met my expectations, you so far exceeded them, I can hardly find the words to describe.
Each and every person in the shop helped out with this project. I can't thank them enough.
Woo! That is awesome.
This car looks amazing now.
Bill, this is so cool. I love it. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
You're very welcome.
Great car.
Whoa! 1968 Chevys, but we need to make this one truly custom and not like any other.
We'll be building an entirely new dash, something that'll give us a new feel for a very old truck.
You know, this is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive.
It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban.
What brings you back? I need some more work done to it.
We can definitely weight this thing up.
I've discovered a huge no-no.
You know, it's not only wrong, it's dangerous.
I'm always up for making things go faster.
This is the definition of custom.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Got a customer, Jose. He's got to have a 68. Jose been to a few places looking at a couple projects. None of them really worked out, but hopefully today we'll have a little more luck. What's up, Jose?
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Well, I've been looking for a 68 for a while, but I haven't found one that has caught my eye.
So my boy Rigo said he's got one in the back of his shop, man. Maybe we might be able to make a deal if you're interested. Maybe we'll test drive this thing.
Let's check it out, see what he got.
We'll see what's up. Rigo!
What's up, baby?
Rigo's a welder who helps us out from time to time. He's got a 68 Chevy in the back that he's used a few parts off of that'll be right up our alley.
It's in the bag, man. I hope it can work out a deal. How's the body look? Body's clean and straight? It looks good, man. For what y'all gonna do is right. All right, well, let's check it out.
Look at it.
The 68 truck has always been my dream truck since I was a kid. Growing up and going to car shows, it's the one that always stood out for me.
Here we go.
There it is. Well, Bill, it is a 68 cab. I was thinking we were going to buy a whole truck.
Yeah. You know, Rigo told me he had a truck. Rigo's got parts.
You got a nickname, Keith.
Yeah, keys.
I know Bill's the master at this, but guess we got to keep looking.
Well, man, you know, all the ones we looked at, they look good till you get up to them and really start looking, and then you find all the little hidden problems.
Right.
The advantage to something like this is you see all the problems. There's nothing hidden here.
Right, right.
You know, so getting a vehicle, well, parts like this is kind of a head start. This actually save a few hours of teardown time.
I see what you're saying, you know, maybe it saves some time, but, you know, is it really feasible for us to buy a truck in pieces like we have it now?
Man, everything's here. The bed's clean, which is really hard to find. The door's decent, fenders, hood, and that's pretty much everything we need to really start building a truck like this.
There's a reason I came to Bill. I trust him. If he tells me that this is enough parts to build my dream truck, I'm going to roll the dice, and we'll see what he can come up with.
Man, we don't need 85% of the truck. Okay. We're just going to toss it and start anyway. So you want, you know, a full custom chassis, suspension, the brakes, new wheels, tires, crazy engine, and interior. I mean,
you'll have to tear it apart anyways.
I think it's a heck of a start, man.
Right, right. Yeah, I want that truck that's a showstopper, that's a little unique. If you think you and your team can give me my dream truck with these parts, I think we can take it off Rigo's hands.
Sure, let's go holler at Rigo. I kind of like the fact there's not too many in 1968s anymore. There's only so many made. If you find a 1968, it's either way built out, way pricey, or it's just way too far gone. There's very few are in between. This 68 is in a lot of pieces. Most shops that see a project like this and just keep walking by. And this one would have just continued to rust and just fall apart, cease to exist in so many years. But with the skill we have here, the tools we have here, the manpower we have, the knowledge we have, we're going to create something really cool.
Man, I wonder when the truck's getting here.
Got some parts for us?
This is it. Man, one of these days they're just gonna come with the steering wheel and expect us to build something.
I hope there's some more parts in the van.
We got everything we need right here. We don't need the frame. We don't need the interior. We don't need all that stuff a truck usually comes with. It's a head start, Tyson.
Thanks, boss.
Look, you can see inside of the cab. All the problems are exposed right now. We know exactly what we need to do, and we're good. It's a great start.
Definitely know what we don't have, too.
To really set this thing apart from all the other ones on the road, we're going to start with a huge motor in this thing. You know, about 900 horsepower is what I want. A full custom chassis front to back because Jose wants to put it all the way on the ground with these huge wheels, 26 by 16s in the back. Fabricated rear end, smooth bed, everything, all the sheet metal contoured and painted all body color. You know, as far as the firewall, we're going to cut all that completely out and make a new one. Some bead roll panels in, something that looks really cool. It's nothing for you guys.
You got this, Tim.
You have a plan for the interior?
We're going to let John just roll with it and go crazy. As far as the dash, that thing has to be cut completely out. I can't stand these dashes that are in these trucks. We're going to build every piece and put a ton of stereo in it. Want it really loud also. As for the doors...
Got doors?
Yes, we got doors. You know, that's a huge head start too. Have flush mount glass put in this thing. It's going to be totally custom. We're a step ahead right there. It's easy. Hope I didn't jinx myself on it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's get this thing off here.
Let's do it.
You know, the good thing about getting a truck in this shape, we don't have to spend a lot of time tearing it down. We sent the cab straight to blast, and because that's all we have is the cab, it came straight back. And it's in pretty good shape. But we're not done tearing it down, because now John's going to make room for a custom dash.
So we're going to do something in this truck that's going to give us a nice new feel for something that's been done over and over and over. You know, you can only beat a dead horse so long until you just throw it away and buy a new horse. So, new horse. The plan here is first, we've got to get rid of all this old dash. We'll be cutting from door to door, all the way across the top, unbolt it, and just throw this whole thing away. We're going to be building an entirely new dash, new instrument cluster, AC controls, something that'll give us a nice new feel for a very old truck. Now there's nothing left to do but everything.
Yeah, but everything. I'm starting to work on the 68 Chevy frame. Jose wanted something just totally different. He's like, hey, just make me something that's unique. So with a truck that's super low to the ground with air suspension, it's pretty common to see frame rails coming up, protruding through the bed floor and going over the axle. Well, in this case, I want to show off the axle itself is the beauty of the suspension. So you look down into the bed and you see just custom axle with suspension going underneath of it and not really seeing a traditional frame. So I think that's what's going to be the cool aspect of this whole build. Most of the link bar setups that we do is just a 2x2 box tubing with a block on it and they bolt to the axle. Well, this is going to be just as different. This chipboard is going to represent our link bar. So it's going to bolt to the frame and come back and grab and just hold the rear end. We're going to burn 4 plates at a 1/4-inch plate and then come all the way back to the back side of the frame and then box it all in. Just to save a little time and effort, I'm going to have 2x4 box tubing to here, and then I'm going to graft it to what we're going to build. There. The next step is just transferring everything that's on the table onto my piece of paper so Jesse can burn it out, figured out. Got my saddles figured out. I got my frame rails figured out. Off to Jesse. The plasma table about 12 years ago, and almost every car that's came through here since, we made a part or parts with it. But like all good tools, especially ones you use every day, they wear down. So we ordered a brand new, way better table. But I got one more job for this one. Need your help. All right, I want you to burn these link bars out for me. 4 of these 1/4-inch material, 4 of these 1/4, and the same with the frame rails.
All right.
You know, this is probably going to be our last job on the old Vern table. We got that brand new one coming in, so
let's put the whole one to work one last time.
All right. So what I'm doing now is all the measurements that I got off the cardboard that Bill gave me, I have to put on here. We're gonna cut 4 pieces of each, which will make it 8 total. All right, so this is gonna be the last time this machine is gonna be used. Old Betsy here, this is it for her. All right, those look good. I like how they came out. They came out real clean. Just clean them up, polish them out, take them over to Bill. That was the last run for this machine. Man, I can't wait to use the new one.
You know, there's a good reason why 68 C10s are so popular. With that classic body style, there's a lot of room for customization. For me, the difference between an average C10 and an over-the-top C10 is most definitely the details, like a John Burgess one-off handmade dash.
This is essentially the foundation for the dash. Everything's going to attach to this and be built from this structure out. So I want to make sure that this piece lines up and gets in here exactly where we want it, nice and smooth and even. Because if not, we're going to see it in the end. And with this being the dashboard, you're going to be sitting here staring at it all day, every day as you're driving this truck. So you'll see what's wrong with it. So we want to make sure we take the time to get everything just right. We'll get it secured in place and get ready for Brian's pieces.
Got a delivery!
Just in time.
Ooh, hot off the there. Hot. Don't touch it.
Well, I just getting everything marked out here where they're all going to go. I'll mark them. You want to cut them and we'll get them glued?
I'll cut them.
Got jigsaw ready to go.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
On pieces to the puzzle. Perfect.
Look who it is.
Oh man, he's back.
Thing still looks good.
Man, it does. It's only been a few months since we finished phase 1 on Ronald's 71 Suburban. It came in pretty dated, but it left with a huge custom lift, big wheels and tires, and a completely custom interior, dash, headliner, seats, and audio. You know, after he saw it, I can tell Ronald got bit by the customization bug. And sure enough, he's already back.
What's going on, Bill?
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Man, how you doing?
Tim?
How was your drive?
It was good, man.
How's that thing doing, man?
It's awesome. Turning heads everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It draws a crowd.
Man, that thing's still looking good.
It's beautiful, man. I'm thrilled with it.
Man, that's always good to hear.
Oh, always, yeah.
What are you doing? What brings you back?
I need some more work done to it.
Phase 2?
Phase 2.
All right, now you're talking.
Drove it around a lot, had a good time with her. Phase 2 is now on my mind. The bug bit me, and I'm totally into it. You know, I really want to take this truck to the next level.
So, Ron, what you thinking on phase 2?
I'm thinking I need more power in the motor. I need something to beef it up a little bit. I mean, it's good the way it is, but it's a big truck. It needs some power in it to push her around.
And some big wheels and tires.
It sure is, man. It sure is.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Ron, it's definitely a little underwhelming, right?
Definitely.
I mean, but you got a great platform. I mean, the LS in it is definitely the way to go. I mean, we can definitely wake this thing up.
I'm sure you can.
You know, I think what this engine compartment needs is a supercharger on this thing. New intake, you know, new exhaust all the way out the back, and some painting underneath here. You know, bring the body color into the engine compartment and just make it so, you know, you can be proud of this thing when you pop the hood.
I won't be afraid to open her up.
Yeah.
Let people see this part.
I agree, man. We need to add some color, add some style, take off this stock valve cover, stock air cleaner.
That's got to go.
I think everything in here's got to go.
I'm trusting you, Bill.
This thing's going to be right. You know, it's a shame having a custom truck where you can't pop the hood. So I'm glad Ronald wants to fix up this engine compartment. I think something else that might be pretty cool on here is, the thing looks mean coming down the road at you, but maybe adding some aftermarket bumpers to really just finish off the attitude of it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of attitude right now, but you're right. I think some bumpers on will set her off.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I'm getting up there in age, man. And my knees can't take jumping out of this thing all the time.
We lifted it too halfway.
It's a little too high, man. So, some nice steps on there, whatever you think, to fit the vehicle, you let me know.
Would definitely get you hooked up with that, but wouldn't want to put a Nerf bar or anything on this. It just looks too clean from the side, not seeing the steps. So we'll get some retractable ones so you can still get in it easy, but
I agree. I'd rather not know that they're even there. I think that's the way to go.
That sounds cool, man. Let's get this phase 2 going, go make it official.
Sounds good.
A customer always tell you, hey, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, when they actually come back, they come into the parking lot, you see them back, you know we're doing a good job. We're doing what we're supposed to do. It's time for phase 2. I know exactly what happened. Once a customer gets their car for a little while, they drive around, put miles on it, their brain starts working. They start thinking about, what they need, what vehicle better. That just goes to show you, when you're bit by the custom bug, you get that feeling. You just got to have more and more and more. Just like any part of the project, especially like a phase 2, I just love that progression. I love how the project evolves, even bigger and better.
What's going on, buddy?
You remember we did this truck a while back, put the lift kit on it and all the interior? We took it back home. He wanted to just drive it for a while, and now he's saying he doesn't have enough power. So now we're going to put a Pro Charger in here, and then we're going to put a front runner kit on the front, so that'll dress up all the motor. Probably put some headers on this thing, let the air flow out of the motor a little better. He wants to just clean up the engine bay, just make it look where if he pops the hood, it's presentable.
I mean, it's decent, but I'm sure he wants it a whole lot better, right?
Yeah, he wants to add some bumpers because, the truck's lifted now and in your face, you just kind of see the stock bumpers. So we're going to add something like a steel bumper on front and rear. Some nice aggressive bumpers on it. Definitely wake this thing up. And when building these trucks, it's never done. It could be phase 10. You still got to add something.
Yep, I'm still not done.
In order to get more access to the engine compartment, I've asked Edgar and the guys to pull the front end off.
The Fab guys are going to put a supercharger on this thing. So what I need to do, I need to take off pretty much the whole front end of this vehicle so they can have space to work on it and do what they have to do. I put tape lines all over the front end. So when everything is off, put it back together, it should be the same way. Hey, go up, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, the other way, the other way.
Putting this engine apart, you can tell it looks like it has a ton of miles on it, which is typical, road dirt, road grime, everything from driving your vehicle, which this man did. But it's all coming off very nicely. What I'm doing is cleaning all the intake ports, and I'm gonna mask all that up, tape it up, so nothing will get inside the cylinder heads. Something gets in there, gets through the valve, goes in the combustion chamber, it'll mess up pistons, valves, all kinds of stuff. We don't want that to happen. That's why I don't wear wedding rings. Oh no. There's a big notch in this frame, which somebody made in order for the exhaust to clear. It shouldn't have been this big. When you got a notch in frame like this, you got to go back and put some kind of reinforcement back in there because you just took out a lot of strength. And driving around with notches like this is really dangerous. So we got to build it back up the right way.
When we built the lift for the 71 Suburban, the headers were hiding in the cutout section of the frame. Only after we removed everything could we see it. It's not only wrong, it's dangerous. It makes the whole frame weak. So John's got to fix those frame rails before we do anything else.
The issue you have with this is you don't have very much structure right here in this area. How thin it is to the wall when you're driving, going through rough terrain or whatever. It makes the frame twist and bend and everything. When it does that, it causes cracks. So what we're gonna do is go back and repair this, grind this up, clean it up real nice, make it look like it's never been cut before. Now I got those grinded down. I'm ready to cut out the plate to go in there. So we got us some 1.5 by 5 inches, 3/16, same thickness as the frame that we're gonna patch back up in here. But first I gotta get this piece to fit in there perfect. Once that's done, we'll get it welded in. I think it should fit in there now. One of the best things you can do when butt welding some plate together is make a nice bevel on the edges. Wherever you're gonna butt to, you do it on the plate and the material so you get a nice V groove in there. When you lay your weld down in there, it penetrates all the way through the bottom end of the plate, and you only got to weld the top. You won't have to get to the bottom because your penetration will go all the way through. Got that fully welded in, a little smooth out, and it'll be good. We got the strength back in here. It's good as new.
Jesse finished making the plates for the custom frame on the 68 chassis. So now all we got to do is box those plates in. You know, this is the first time making a frame with cut plate like this for extensive. We never just really had the time to take the time to make a custom chassis like this because it is a ton of work. Jesse did a real good job of cutting out this 1/4 inch plate in the shape of a frame. So the next step we're going to do is wrap some 2-inch flat bar all the way around the shape of the plate. And we're gonna box it in, weld it, grind it, and it's gonna look like it's a bought piece. So what we'll do is just bend this by hand. You see we've got a flat spot here, so it needs to be a little bent, a little more right here. So bend it a little more right there. Alright, see if you can get one rubbed into that. Alright. You see just the layout, the drawing, the cutting, the shaping, the welding, and even the grinding. It takes 10 times more than just a regular chassis. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, move it down a little bit. So we're putting a lot of extra time into making Jose something really, really cool, really sculpted, and really special.
So as you heard Bill say, this is a first for extensive. I'm new to the shop, so this is a first for me also. Kind of got thrown in the mix, but it's the only way you're going to learn. It's cool to be able to be working here and be working on something that's never been done here also.
You know, we got a lot of tools around here to do all kind of different metal shaping, but, you know, sometimes it's just way more efficient just to grab the metal and just start manipulating it by hand. And, you know, that's the true definition of working with your hands and being handcrafted.
Alright, I got this one close to Bill's template. A couple more bends, and it should match. It's gonna work, guys.
While we're boxing in the 68 Chevy's frame piece by piece, over in interior, John and Brian are moving on to the next stages of the custom dash.
You know, the structure's really coming along. Everything's starting to come together and take shape. We got to have some place to put a headlight switch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attach that to the dash pad and make that part of the dash pad, and it'll come down and sit on top of the dash right here. Sits here. You got your headlight switch right here. It'll all tie together. It'll look pretty cool. That's the thing about these things. They're organic. They kind of take shape and do things as you work along. So as Brian's over here doing the body work and getting the lines in and everything's starting to take shape, you can really see it and know where you're headed. And you know, you get to add those little touches to it along the way to make sure that everything flows perfectly and just nice. The cool part about it, the organic part of it, is just it grows as you go. So it's enjoyable. Look what I got.
Oh, how'd you get that thing?
8-9 weeks out, we got it in a week, so wow. Can't complain.
No.
Now all we get to do now is find out if that internet template works out.
Time to cut it.
We finally got the cluster in and we ordered online. I looked all over for a template. They didn't offer one to print out. Cheated a little bit. I blew the screen up and took a measurement until it all fit, traced it out, and transferred it. So now's the moment of truth. See if this thing is actually going to fit or not.
Boom, baby.
All right, man, you got it all cut out.
It's all cut out.
There it is.
Moment of truth. Here we go. I got my toes crossed. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. Man, there's no way I got that close off of that 10-foot computer screen.
Bruh, it fits.
No way. That thing fits that good?
I mean, look, dude. I mean, we're within 1/8 of an inch. Just need a little mud to make it dead on perfect. But, I mean, you can't get no closer than that. Just guess it.
Right on. Cool.
Sweet.
Well, I'll let B's Mud Palace go to town.
Time to mud it up.
We found a really aggressive front bumper for the 71 Suburban. You know, we couldn't find the exact right look for the rear bumper, so we're gonna make it out of quarter. He's got a press big enough to bend steel that long and that thick.
What's up? All right, man. Your dad said you had a little project going on for me?
Yes, sir.
We got a bumper here?
Yeah.
Set out a 1/4 inch?
1/4 inch by 75 inches.
It's gonna be some heavy duty bumper here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get it done. You can come with me.
All right, let's do it.
All right. This metal here is real thick metal. It weighs about 500 pounds a sheet, 10 pounds per square foot. So that's what we're working with. All right.
It's really cool that my dad can just give me a couple pieces of paper and some measurements and dimensions. I give it to him, he knows exactly what to do.
All right, what you got now? You got 2 inches right here?
Yeah, 3 1/4, 7 1/4 altogether.
All right, we're going to get this show on the road here. This is a 12-foot long press brake. It's 250 tons pressure that it'll bend 90 degrees. If you need a big piece of metal bent, you need to come see this brake right here.
Now, let's see.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It does.
I think we got it.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
With the Suburban's frame fixed, Edgar's color matched the firewall and the engine. Now it's time for Matt to wake up that LS.
Perfect. Now that we got our motor back in it, we get our Pro Charger on it. It's a belt-driven blower. It's going to force air into the motor. With more airflow plus more fuel, you're going to get a lot more power. The motors have always been my thing. They've always come kind of easy to me. I'm always up for making things go faster. This plate allows us to mount the blower to the factory pulley assembly. And now we can go ahead and install our head unit, which will attach right to the bracket off to the side here. This is just the idler pulley here. So the motor's power will spin the crankshaft and the belt through all the idler pulleys to the blower pulleys to create all the airflow that'll come out of here. All right, so now we're gonna put our sheet metal intake on. So this intake allows for better airflow. The way the runners are built, it's designed for the air to travel smoother into the motor with less restriction. So not everything has to do with performance in the custom world. Sometimes you just want to spend that money to get your engine to look good. Part of the reason we're changing these valve covers. Factory, all the coils sit on the LS valve covers, and these ones come with no provisions for coil packs, and we're gonna hide them just for the overall appearance. It's gonna be a lot better looking. Next step, we're gonna put our throttle body on. It controls the airflow into the motor. When you mash it to the floor, it pulls it open and allows all the air that this Pro Charger is gonna create to push right in there. We got that put on, we can put our AC compressor on, and then we'll move on to putting the main drive belt for the blower on. Okay, so we're gonna install a set of Shorty stainless headers. These do help with performance, but they also can make it look badass. Like it?
Man, it's huge improvement. You know, this truck's gonna get a whole lot of attention no matter where it goes. And he's gonna have some more power.
Quite a bit more power.
Those tools come together.
The 68 C10 frames really come together nice. So we got our pieces we cut on the table, our 1/4 inch plate. It's gonna be the size of our new frame rail. We got our flat bar that we shaped to match the contour of the pieces that we cut. So we're gonna put them together, weld them all up, grind them down, nice clean lines, and all totally custom. Step is just tacking the top part of the frame in. You know, it's like any project, you gotta take your time. You know, the challenge to this is to not have any flat, jerky parts, and you want everything all nice and smooth and
and consistent. We got to make sure everything is perfect, no flaws in this whatsoever, because everybody's going to be looking.
Thank you.
After a whole lot of cutting, welding, grinding, hand bending, we're at the point we finally start to put pieces together, and it's finally going to start looking like frame.
Man, this thing looks cool.
Man, it's getting there, huh?
I haven't seen one of these before, or one like this.
Yeah, I've never made one like this. I've never even seen a frame that goes under the frame, comes back and just curves around everything. This is the definition of custom. Here, help me hold this. He can clamp this. This one's going to finish up on the back quarter of the frame. Damn, that looks good. We're going to be putting a lot of heat, a lot of welding, and a lot of grinding on this. So I want to maintain this being level, straight, to worry about it moving. If it does move, I can see it coming off the ground and how to correct it as we're building it. See the back part of the frame, everything flows together. It, starts on one side, just goes all the way around like a old school slot car track. Once this is all capped in, that'll finalize the rear part of the frame. Pop in the suspension, the whole back half is completely done. How y'all doing?
It's going.
Give me some good news on the engine transmission for the 68.
The motor and trans that the customer ordered is not ready yet, and we don't know what it is or when it's going to be here.
That always complicates things, right?
Yeah, he can't get a hold of his transmission guy, so we don't know when it's coming, specs, we don't know anything about it.
So we can't mock anything up or anything?
Nothing at all.
And our live space is hot commodity. We're super busy right now, so we can't afford to everything, and then it's still not here. And then the truck's stuck on a lift. So what I think I'll do is just pause the whole thing. I'm disappointed for sure, but I've been in the game long enough to know every build has its own path. Sometimes you hit a bump, but I guarantee when we get our parts, we'll get back at it. And then Jose's gonna get his 68 Chevy of his dreams, and then some. Let's have everything all lined up, that way we can pump it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Next time I come in, give me some good news.
We'll try.
See ya. Come on, Cleve. This shop never stops. One might slow down a little bit, but at the same time, phase 2 of the Suburban is almost complete. We got our super strong 1/4-inch plate all bent at a nice little angle, so it's going to look really good up against the truck. So the next step is just tacking it to our bumper brackets that we made and start building. Yeah.
You want to just 45 this back?
Just kind of getting an idea, kind of seeing what looks cool, what doesn't. It might add not, it just depends on how it starts looking, how it starts taking shape. Maybe something like that. Just another part of the custom creative process of making something cool. Yeah, whatever looks cool, that's what we're gonna do.
Man, this is rounded right here, and this is kind of stepped to go with the bumper. So I'm trying to manipulate it enough to where I can make this have a bend on this side to follow this, but then I'll probably make it come out, and I'll just cut it with the rounded part, make it follow the bumper.
See what it looks like.
The good part about working at a shop like this, you can do just about anything. Just whatever you think up and create, you can do it on this piece of metal. All right, now we have all the pieces made. They're all tacked in place. We have the shape to take out that big area we had right there on the body. Kind of makes it flow with the truck now. And then we can pull the whole bumper off, weld it out, and put it back on. Next Next thing we're gonna do is make a license plate box. It's gonna serve two purposes. It's gonna hold the license plate, and if he ever tows, take the license plate off of it, and his receiver hitch is right here behind it. I do this, but if you ever want to tow something, it kind of disappears when the license plate's on it. If you ever do need to tow something, take the license plate off, put your receiver hitch in, pull it. Whenever you get done, put the license plate back on, and it kind of hides all the receiver hitch, all that. Now, cut the excess off, then I'll put it back up and weld it on finally. We can weld it up here, all the way around, and then come back with a big flat pad and just go down it until we work it down where there's no more weld. It carries the same body lines, but you don't ever get into this hard edge, and it just looks like a more finished product.
Now that the metal work is done, the bumpers can get powder coated and then off to body and paint. Matt's all done waking up this LS with a Pro Charger. We made mounts to install the retractable steps, and phase 2 is complete. Now we're ready to send this truck back to Ronald once again.
Than what it is now. Started off with a little shack, maybe like one wall full of parts. I was just answering phones, most basic stuff ever. And then as it grew and we started selling more parts, more phone calls, more customers, more builds, more appointments, and it's where we're at now. Growing up, I was kind of a tomboy. My dad didn't have any sons for a long time, and so he raised us like boys almost, you know, to fend for ourselves, changing brakes, oil changes, stuff like that. So everything that my dad taught me, I brought here, plus the bagged world, the bagged scene. I learned a lot from Bill, and there's no one better to learn from but him. Working with nothing but guys, it's like having nothing but big brothers around. They're always joking, they're always playing, they give, you know, a hard time, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. We're just one big family.
Real deal, Bill. What's up, Bill? What you up to?
How y'all doing today?
Good, man. Big bro in the neighborhood. Just slide by to get some inspiration. You know, you got something going on over here, man.
You know, I always like when Slim and Raymond come by, but today, you know, I can tell they're on a little mission to see which way the tree. They're in the right spot.
You know, I mean, we've been sitting on the same fleet for a minute, man. It's time we gotta blow their mind one more time, man. The Mac's still holding, but, you know, we ready to do some more builds.
Yeah.
Just trying to find out what I'm gonna do next, man. Is it gonna be old school, new school, big truck, or you know what I'm saying? What? Like, get us some ideas.
Man, you already know we're just always lifting something up, dropping something down, cutting something up.
What's up, Bill? Ready to load a Suburban out?
You got a Suburban?
Yeah, man. You want to check it out?
Yeah.
You know what better time for Slim and Raymond to stop by and check out our latest build? We're just about to ship off phase 2 of Ronald's latest and greatest Suburban.
Oh, man. Look at this, bro.
That's an old school.
He thought it was a new one, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a new one. That's the old 3-0. Hold on. Nothing better not getting in the way of that, man.
Yeah, that thing's heavy.
That's for real.
Yeah,
you don't ever see these going down the road.
Never, man. I ain't seen one in so long. I ain't never think about the old school bourbon. You would think outside the box and do something like this, huh? It's crazy.
Well, you know, we're just finishing phase 2 of the build. What we did in phase 1, put it on the lift, ripped out all the old suspension.
You see, man, that's
nice 4 links front and rear with air, so it's fully adjustable too.
I didn't know why I go up and down too.
Oh yeah, man.
That's nice.
Come on.
You know, put some nice wheels, nice tires, and just to give it that mean look.
That's sick, man.
That's nice.
Full interior redo.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love this here, man. This look like a Slum Thug car.
It was, yeah, do something new.
It'll take Bill to make you want an old school 3-door bourbon, man.
I like the wheels on there. You see them wheels?
I love it, man. I love it, bro.
You know, he took off with it, and sure enough, came right back with it. He got bit by the bug and just, you know, had to have more. So phase 2 was getting it back in the shop. We just molded in some cool bumpers for it just to finish off that mean, aggressive look. Weld it all up, grind it all down, paint it, color match it, and we just fully built the back one, just all out of 1/4-inch material too, so you ain't gotta worry about backing into something.
Nah, the bumpers look good. Oh man, they look crazy.
You know, once we got the bumpers right, you know, we had to make it a little easier to get in and out of it for him too, because
everybody ain't tired of Slim Thug.
Yeah, you know, we had to hook him up and do a little something special for him.
Okay, let's see what you got going. See what's going on over here.
Right.
Look at that. Still like on a new bourbon.
Right.
Yeah, man. Looks
right.
And it was here too.
Yeah, it's all tucked up. You don't even see it. So
that's dope, man.
His last problem was the car looks so good on the outside, looks good underneath, looks good inside.
Okay.
But man, everywhere you go, people ask, "Hey, what's under the hood?" You'd be like, "Oh, nothing." You know, He couldn't really show it off, so we hooked him up there.
Let's see what you got going under the hood. Come on, man. Whoa! Come on, man. Look at him, man. You see that there, man? What you trying to do? Race it or what?
Yeah. What you doing?
Oh man, that's
wasn't expecting that now, right? You know, so what we did, just a straight pull out, an LS out of a truck. It wasn't anything to show off.
That's a pro charger?
They trying to race it and they put a pro charge on a bourbon.
You know, smooth all the core support, smooth the firewall, and finish it off with pro charge. Give him some power too.
Yeah.
He's got a complete package now.
It looks good, man.
Right?
Real good. Well, Bill, you know we came through here for the inspiration. I'm damn sure inspired, man. So yeah, me and my brother gotta find us an old school.
Gotta find us one.
Man, let me know what y'all figure out.
Yes, sir.
You know where we're at.
You know we're gonna let you know real deal. Yes, sir.
Slim, I can't, because you know we're ready. And Ronald, the truck's on its way to you. When you get tired of everything that we've done now, bring it on back. We'll start phase 3.